Are you making this common mistake with your reptile? Go on YouTube, you see fantastic enclosures, beautifully lighted, planted, bioactive, and you try to replicate it. It's not a surprise, because that is where you think you should be. However, that can create more problems than you realise. In this episode, I'm going to be taking you through why you shouldn't be trying to emulate those ones yet, and how you can get there instead. I'm David, this is Lana, welcome to DJL Exotics. So don't get me wrong, the enclosures that you see on YouTube from many of the creators are absolutely wonderful, perfect. They are what we should all be aiming for to ensure that the reptiles that we have the best care. However, that doesn't mean that's where we all start. In actual fact, trying to reach there can mean that we're going to cause more harm in the long term for our reptiles. Think about it like this. You can't just pick up a violin and start playing Mozart. You might get a sound out, but it's not going to sound right. A child going to school can't suddenly do algebra. They have to learn the basics of maths to start with. It's the same with reptile keeping. You get your first reptile, you need to learn how to look after that reptile properly. And it's not going to be adding in loads of levels of complex, bioactive, live plant, lighting scenarios, different timers, different food groups. That's just going to make it too complicated. And if something goes wrong, you won't know why and you won't know how to fix it. Instead, you need to start more simple. There is nothing wrong with starting more simple. A lot of the content creators you see online, they all started with simple setups. They've all made mistakes along the way. And that is not going to be any different for you. You can start basic and you can learn and upgrade. There is nothing wrong with you having a 3-foot vivarium with paper towels, a hot hide, a cold hide, a heat mat with a thermostat, a feeding bowl, a water bowl and a substrate bowl, and a few decorations for your leopard gecko. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a good, simple starter setup. Simple does not mean bad care. It means you've got the opportunity to learn and progress. In actual fact, having a simple startup is better than trying to do everything at once. Remember, it's not about running, it's about learning to walk and then run. However, as time progresses and you build the confidence and you start learning how to look after your reptile, you can then start adding in more complex elements. So you can then add in the UV. You could change the substrate. You can add in live plants, go for bioactive. It's about building on your experience and your knowledge, learning what's best, but making sure that you've got those basic fundamentals in place for heating, for humidity, and the feeding. If you do that first, then build up, you're going to have a long living leopard gecko or corn snake. The thing is that once you've got to that point, you've earned it. You really do know what you're doing, and when mistakes happen, you know exactly where the error is, and you can make the corrections to better improve. And that's a learning curve that every owner on YouTube or on social media has gone through. They've started basic and they've built up. I think part of the problem is that we subtly think that what we see online is exactly where we need to be, and that's not true. We're giving ourselves an unrealistic standard to live at, and instead you need to look at where you are, not where you want to be. So if you're just coming into it, learn to build the enclosure that you need to build to start with, and then build up. Take pride in the fact that you're a beginner, but you have the drive to give the best care, because that love, that affection that you have for the gecko is going to be way more important to its long life survival and thriving than having an intention of making it look really good because everyone else online has it looking like that. So if you're new to reptiles, don't try everything at once. Start basic. It's the main point of this video. But do remember that it's all about learning curve, and that part of that learning is talking to other people. So why don't you drop a question in the comments below? I'll be sure to answer it, and perhaps others of the community will as well. Apart from that, please remember to like, share and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.